Hello, and welcome back to Rainbow Clan. In the last episode, we had a lot of firsts. We had our first mated pair in Rosy Pelt and Mudsilk. We had our first kitten in Shadowkit. We had our first year go by, and we also had our first death. So we unfortunately lost Cupcake to Frostbite. She hadn't been in the clan for very long, but she will be very missed. And I left off on a cliffhanger last time. On Moon 13. I mean, it wasn't much of a cliffhanger, but I skipped ahead just to give you a preview of what was coming in the next episode. And we have that Lavender Finn no longer has a stomachache and Shadowkit no longer have running nose, so that's good. Leap Whisker is got some sore joints now after tending to the dens for some reason. And the big one is that Valley Star has gotten his infection once again. Now, this is significant because Valley Star had an infection previously that had cleared up, but it looks like the infection has returned, meaning that Valley Star is going to spend even more time in the Medicine Cat Den, even though he's been in here for 7 moons already. In the meantime, I have created little bios for each of the cats to help me keep track of their personalities and their history. So I'm going to go over these really quick. You're welcome to pause and read them if you would like to as well. So
Valley Star was made deputy extremely young, and also became leader extremely young, and he is a distant descendant of Creektooth, who is the Star Clan guide of Rainbow Clan. He was fiercely loyal to his clan and its members, working tirelessly to provide for them and putting their lives far before his own. He developed a crush on Cupcake, a former kitty cat with a standoffish personality, and would later save her from the jaws of a dog, which in turn shattered Valley Star's leg. However, Cupcake would later die from frostbite after going out to find prey for Valley Star, leaving Valley Star devastated. He would suffer from infection and fractured leg for many moons to come, working to overcome her. I put the wrong pronoun, but working to overcome his grief. So yeah, he is still suffering from this infection, and hopefully he will improve with time. He's still got all 9 of his lives, so he's got plenty to spare, but I would still like to see him get better. So Sandstorm is the seasoned deputy, respected by many of his clanmates. Though he is known for having a bit of an attitude, he is also known for being an excellent teacher, offering his sage advice and wisdom to cats even older than himself. He works great with young cats, and he had a crush on Rosy Pelt and was devastated when she chose Mudsilk over him, leaving him to become briefly a bit more clumsy in his duties. So he's been injured a few times because he's not really paying attention. He's a little distracted that Rosy Pelt has picked someone instead of him, Mudsilk instead of him. So hopefully he gets over that. Timestripe. So Timestripe is a seasoned and well-experienced medicine cat. Even though after moons of service to his clan, his insecurities about his abilities plague his every thought. It only encourages him to work harder, often exhausting himself with the amount of labor he puts on his shoulders. He's never taken on an apprentice simply because he does not believe himself worthy of it, but he does know his age is catching up with him. Someone will have to take his place eventually. He finds comfort in his best friend Mudsilk and in traversing the land outside of Rainbow Clan territory. He's never been close to his mother Leap Whisker and wishes this is something he could change. Cannelloni. We all love Cannelloni. Cannelloni is an older cat who lived most of his life as a kitty pet, only to be abandoned by his 2 legs after catching a case of green cough that they could not afford to treat. Though he was devastated, he quickly recovered from his illness thanks to Rainbow Clan and chose to devote the remainder of his life to his saviors. Not having much talent aside from speaking, he chose to become the clan's mediator. He later adopted Shadowkit, who was abandoned by her parents, his already big heart wide open for others with a similar unfortunate past. Scarlet Meadow. She is a sharp-tongued older warrior who never really matured past the age of an apprentice. Though she is revered for her excellent skills and limitless ferocity in battle, her tendency to whine and pick fights over trivial things often has her labeled as more of an annoyance than anything else. Originally, she had a bit of a poor relationship with Valley Star, not thinking her as a suitable leader due to her age. However, after witnessing Valley Star's noble rescue of Cupcake, Scarlet Meadow's respect for the young leader increased, and she began working harder to improve her own performance in the clan. Timestripe is a cocky but good-natured warrior known for his particularly honed senses, which have, as a result, inflated his ego infinitely. He lost his mate to illness some seasons ago, and he remains extremely close with their only kit, Lavender Finn. He is extremely involved in his son's life to a borderline annoying degree, fussing over him as one parent would a young kitten. Rosy Pelt is a warrior with her head in the clouds, often daydreaming about love and a more pampered lifestyle. She often wanders out of camp, preferring to be alone in her internal musings and basking herself in the comforting whispers of the wildlife. Before becoming mates with Mudsilk, she made her crush on her no secret, often toting behind the other she-cat like a lost kit. When she isn't fumbling about in her own head, she's often seen glued to Mudsilk's side, as if she was afraid she would disappear. Mudsilk isn't as quite a pain in the tail as Scarlet Meadow, but her love of tricks and games make her sometimes seem more suitable for the nursery. She makes up for her childish nature with her hunting skills, almost having never failed to catch. She is extremely close with Timestripe, often providing him with comfort that he needs to keep pushing forward. She's also close, naturally, with her mate Rosy Pelt, who's often glued to her side, as previously stated. Lavender Finn, who was pampered by his father as a child, Timestripe, and consequently retains that spoiled child personality, often expecting or demanding too much of others. He's also a bit lazy, preferring others do the tough work, but he has a good heart, and often enjoys coming up with stories to share with the younger cats of the clan. Laystripe is the son of Timestripe and a kitty pet female, unbeknownst to him. He's always been close with his father, and despite wanting to become a medicine cat apprentice like him, Timestripe encouraged him to follow the path of a warrior. The warrior life ended up suiting Laystripe much better, with his love of adventure making him a hardworking member of the clan, always eager to go out on patrol. He sees his former mentor, Timestripe, as a sort of second father figure, and loves to spend time with him on patrols. And now we have Leaf Whisker, who is a well-respected elder, and though she is kind and caring towards her playmates, she masks an anxiety that she's carried with her much of her life. After losing her mate and most of her kits to a tragic accident, she became too afraid to get close with her living son, Timestripe, and therefore harbors little relationship with him. She remains quite the nervous sort, always checking over her shoulder and around the corners as if she's being watched. And Shadow Kit, finally, was abandoned by her kitty pet mother at only a moon old. The mediator, Cannelloni, took her in as his own, but it didn't do much to quell her loneliness and that feeling of being unwanted. With no other kids in the nursery to play with, she often distracts herself through vigorous play, clambering over her adoptive father even in the middle of the night.
So that's each of our descriptions for each of our cats. I will be expanding on them as time goes by, but for now, they're pretty good, I think. First, we're gonna mediate, because I have been very slacking on the mediating. I keep forgetting. So what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna see what Scarlet Meadow and Valley Star have to say for each other. I'm not gonna do romantic just because they are pretty far apart in age, but let's see how much their relationship improves further. Okay, cool. So Valley Star's dislike of Scarlet Meadow has completely gone away, and he has earned some trust in her. Really glad that they are repairing the relationship that originally wasn't very good. So now we're gonna go on patrol. We'll take 3 cats, led by Timestripe. The patrol spots a badger making a den on Ridge Clan territory. Alright, so this is another rival clan that we are learning about. Again, I don't think that they would do anything about this, just because maybe Blaze Stripe would want to do something, adventure onto another clan's territory, more for the experience of that rather than to protect the clan inside of the territory. I don't think as a whole the patrol would proceed with this, so we're gonna not proceed. It's not their problem, but they make a mental note to mention the badger to their leader later. Alright, that's the best you can do in this situation. We'll take 2 cats, because I don't want to have huge patrols for the medicine cat. So we're taking Mudsilk and Scarlet Meadow. Hey, I did this art. But anyway, Scarlet Meadow finds an abandoned kit whose parents are nowhere to be found. Well, it looks like we're gonna either have our second kit or we're gonna have something really tragic happen. What? Scarlet Meadow rushes the kit back to camp, and the kit is nursed back to health and promised a place in the clan. Cedar Kit has joined the clan, so we have a new clan member, a new kitten, and it looks like Shadow Kit has a new playmate. Cedar Kit, who is male, bossy, and oddly observant. I don't like that bossy trait, but hopefully he is not too much of a bully towards Shadow Kit and provides her with a friendship that she very dearly needs. So let's take Timestripe and Lavender Finn. During a patrol looking for herbs, Timestripe noticed that Lavender Finn seems more quiet than usual, and Lavender asked if Timestripe could teach them more about the nature of Star Clan. Lavender Finn is a good storyteller, but he doesn't really strike me as the medicine cat type. But I think he would be asking more out of pure curiosity rather than desire to be a medicine cat. Timestripe eventually relents and begins teaching Lavender Finn more about Star Clan and the nature of prophecies. Lavender Finn takes to it quickly, marveling at their ancestors. They attempt to bug Timestripe about any recent prophecies, but Timestripe only laughs and gets the patrol back on track for herbs. Yeah, that kind of seems like Lavender Finn it was all just a ruse just for some Star Clan drama gossip, because that definitely seems like something Lavender Finn would want to know. So let's skip to the next moon and see what awaits us. Oh no, Blaze Stripe's tail is badly injured by a dog, and it looks like Timestripe has gotten a running nose as well. In better news, Sandstorm's leg is healed. And Timestripe woke up with a splitting headache and couldn't get out of their nest. They spent the entire day curled up trying to avoid light and noise so that the throbbing pain could subside. That's terrible. And Shadow Kit keeps falling to one side, and eventually it's clear that one of the legs on that side just isn't as strong as the other. Yeah, so she was born with this condition, and it's a permanent condition, so it's not gonna get any better. But this is likely, unfortunately, why she was abandoned by her mother, because generally kittens that are abandoned in this game have some sort of permanent condition. But hopefully that won't deter her from being a strong warrior or a medicine cat or wherever she wants to be. Scarlet Meadow ensnails Sandstorm with a charming smile. Ooh. Looks like everyone's being nice to Shadow Kit. Leaf Whisker thinks Sandsnarl isn't very considerate of others. Rosy Pelt seems to be oblivious to Sandsnarl glaring at them from across camp. Timestripe is stuttering while speaking to Cedar Kit. Oh, he must be nervous Timestripe is a very fatherly individual, so I think he likes to be around the young kids. And Cedar Kid is no exception, but I think he would be a bit nervous, just like any parent is with a new child. And Cedar Kid is upset that they overheard a joke from Leaf Whisker that they didn't get, and that made him not like Leaf Whisker. And also Shadow Kid had a fight with Lavender Finn. I don't know why Lavender Finn is beefing with children, but whatever. Let's take some cats on patrol. Sandstorm comments that they could not help but think of what legacy they would leave behind if StarClan called upon them. Yeah, so Timestripe just reassures Sandsnarl that their legacy would shine brighter than any star. And Sandsnarl thanks Timestripe and brings back time. So this happened in the last episode with, I believe, Mudsilk. I wonder why they're thinking about death. That's kind of morbid. So Rosy Pelt and Mudsilk, who are mates, we're going to take them out together. They look for something to disguise their scent while hunting. And, well, they couldn't think of anything. Maybe they were too distracted being lovey-dovey with each other, because they don't really leave each other's side. Scarlet Meadow and Lavender Finn, the childish duo. They spot a rabbit up ahead, but it seems to be acting strange. The patrol can see its tremors from a few fox lengths away. Now, normally, I think I would have them go for it, because they're both childish. But Scarlet Meadow had previously been told by Sandsnarl that this is something you should not catch. So I think Scarlet Meadow would tell Lavender Finn to avoid catching this rabbit. Now, we're gonna skip to Moon 15. Rosy Pelt received a present, petals, from Sandsnarl and decided to keep them on her pelt. That's cute because her name is Rosy Pelt and now she's got little rose petals on her pelt. That's really cute. And it fits perfectly. But her tail was also badly injured by a dog, which is why she is, unfortunately, in the medicine cat den. Leaf Whisker's joint pain has abated. Good. Sandsnarl's gotten a stomachache. Not good. Tiny Sight's running nose is gone. And Valley Star's infection is gone. So luckily that infection was pretty short-lived. And it seems that his broken bone has finally healed. So Valley Star is now out of the medicine cat den after almost 8 moons of being in there. That's a really long time, and he's back to his regular duties. If you see me clicking up here, it's because the cat list used to be up here, and I keep clicking up here because I think it'll take me to the cat list. But I've done this like multiple times in all the episodes, and it's like pissing me off. But it's whatever. So Valley Star is finally up and about once again. Let's see what else. So Timestripe. Oh shit. Timestripe's headache went away, but they were buried alive in a landslide. We lost Timestripe. Scarlet Meadow's voice cracks with grief, talking about the time they had with Timestripe. One day the clan will have kittens who never knew Timestripe in life, but Scarlet Meadow vows to ensure Timestripe's memory will live on through them. Lavender Finn wails when they see the body of Timestripe still and cold in the clearing. They sit vigil that night as grief fills their heart. Lavender Finn can't be bothered to get up out of their nest the next day, refusing to speak a word to those around them. So Lavender Finn was Timestripe's son, and he's lost his other parent. Blazestripe was Timestripe's apprentice, and he fusses gently with Timestripe's fur, hiding the evidence of what killed them. They want to remember them as they were in life, not like this. Blazestripe can't be bothered to get up out of their nest the next day, refusing to speak a word to those around them. The past moon, Timestripe has taken their place in StarClan. Rainbow Clan mourns their loss, and their clanmates will miss the spot they took up in their lives. Moments of their life are shared in stories around the circle of mourners as those that were closest to them take them to their final resting place. So yeah, R.I.P. Timestripe. In better news, Cedar Paw has reached the age of 6 moons and has become an apprentice, but I feel like that is pretty drowned out by the death of Timestripe. It looks like Mudsilk is Cedar Paw's mentor, and he's competitive and oddly observant. And he had quite the adventure today, so at least he's having a fun time. Oh, Tiny Sight has gotten the Elder Sprite. Poor Lavender Finn, he's grieving and he can't even get out of bed. So is Blazestripe, he's also grief-stricken. Scarlet Meadow, I believe, is grief-stricken as well, yeah. I didn't know that they were close. Oh yeah, they were really— oh, she had romantic like for him. Damn. So let's take our cats on patrol. Take Cedar Paw, Valley Star, and Mudsilk, because Mudsilk is Cedar Paw's mentor. Valley Star suggests this might be a good chance for the cats to practice new hunting techniques, particularly with Cedar Paw present. Unfortunately, no one steps up to teach. It makes everything feel awkward and a waste of time, and the cats give up and return to camp a little irritated. Mudsilk is literally Cedar Paw's mentor. Why? Maybe Mudsilk wasn't the best choice of mentor for Cedar Paw. Let's take these last 3 cats on a medicine cat patrol. Greenleaf is truly the best time of year to be a medicine cat, with the world so full of flowers and green growth. Tinysight heads out to gather fresh goldenrod for the stores with a patrol of their clanmates to assist them. And Tinysight is distracted today and it affects their work. That's unfortunate. I think everyone's still a little bit shaken by Time Fawn's very tragic, gruesome death. There's not much we can do about that. So, let's move on to the next moon. Hopefully, things start looking up a little bit. Leap Whisker has gotten fleas. Great. Sandstorm is glad that their stomachache is finally gone. And they got another stomachache. Cannelloni considers as they look out over Clam if perhaps this isn't where they belong. Really? Cannelloni? I wonder if it's because Shadow Paw is now an apprentice and they feel like their purpose is over. But as Shadow Paw touches noses with Valley Star, they hope that there'll be a cool mentor that won't assign boring tasks, anything but gathering moss or tick duty. Well, it looks like Valley Star is Shadow Paw's mentor, and she is still lonesome and constantly climbing. But, oh, Cedar Paw got caught trying to sneak out of camp without a warrior. He strikes me as a bit of a troublemaker. He really wants to be the best, like no one ever was. And he's willing to do anything to prove that. Take Valley Star and Sandsnarl out together. And they did not catch the fish. Dang. Take Cedar Paw and Tinysight. I would take his mentor, but I think Mudsilk isn't like the best mentor, so maybe Cedar Paw would do some good from helping out the medicine cat. Cedar Paw tells Tinysight about the dream they had last night and what the Star Clan vision could mean for Rainbow Clan. Cedar Paw definitely gives me he thinks he's the main character and he's like getting all these visions and he wants to be cool and stuff, but he's really just a normal cat. And Tinysight is like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. And let's add these last 3. Mudsilk suggests this might be a good chance for the cats to practice teamwork, particularly with Shadow Paw. And they had a nice practice session this time, so Mudsilk seems to be better with training Shadow Paw than training her own apprentice, Cedar Paw. Oh, look at Cannelloni off by himself right here. I know he's feeling like he doesn't belong anymore now that Shadow Paw is growing up, but I hope he realizes that he does belong and that he is wanted. Skip to the next moon. Blazestripe's tail is healed well, and Sandstorm's stomachache is now actually finally gone. But it looks like that stomachache transferred onto Tinysight instead. We haven't checked the relationships in a while, so let's check those. Blazestripe thinks Sandsnarl is really charming. Sandsnarl saws Cedar Paw being rude. Yeah, that seems about right. Tinysight has been spending time with Cannelloni lately. Yeah, I think that Tinysight would definitely be the one to notice that Cannelloni is a bit off and would try to spend some time with him. Mudsilk saw Shadow Paw show off a skill they never knew they had. That's interesting that Mudsilk seems to be way more compatible with Shadow Paw than with her own apprentice. Maybe she doesn't like Cedar Paw's competitive nature and likes how laid back Shadow Paw is. Shadow Paw is surprised by Cannelloni being thoughtful. That's your dad, Shadow Paw. Why are you surprised? Let's do some mediating really quick. Oh, I didn't notice that there was romantic light between these two. Well, they are pretty far apart in age, so I'm not gonna further encourage that. There's also some romance between Valley Star and Sandsnarl, and maybe we will see if this goes anywhere. It did not go anywhere romantically, but the platonic love did go up. So that's good for the relationship between the leader and the deputy. He accidentally made an argument worse. Well, sometimes that happens. We'll take these 3 out. Valley Star seems 2 kits from Heath Clan. playing close to the border. So this is another clan, Heath Clan. I might change the names of these rival clans just because they're kind of random. But let's see what these kits are up to. As Valley Star goes to step over this border with Scarlet Meadow to retrieve the kits and bring them over to the clan, they stop as they hear a Heath Clan patrol shouting for the kits. Valley Clan is relieved to know that they will be safe with their own clan and resume their patrol. The patrol doesn't realize that the Heath Clan cat saw them cross the border and now looks upon their backs with fury. Oh no. Looks like Heath Clan thinks that the Rainbow Clan cats were messing with their kits, and hopefully that doesn't escalate any further. During a patrol looking for herbs, Timestripe noticed that Sandstorm seems a bit more quiet than usual, and Sandstorm wants to learn about Star Clan. And looks like Sandstorm is bugging Timestripe about prophecies, just like Lavender Finn was. But regardless, they gathered some lungwort and cobwebs, so that's good. And lastly, we have Shadow Paw and Cedar Paw, who are going to go out together. This can only end well. On the top of a rocky outlook, watching over the rolling surface of the foothills below, Shadow Paw waits for Cedar Paw, the dark night cloaking the steep mountain. The tip of their tail keeps twitching in excitement. Ooh, they're gonna go out and do something together? Shadow Paw bursts out from cover, pouncing on Cedar Paw with claws sheathed and giggling. Cedar Paw rolls with the blow and kicks Shadow Paw off, but they scramble to their feet looking hurt and alarmed. A rocky outlook is no place for games that knock you off balance. Yeah, I feel like Cedar Paw would definitely be like, This is childish. We can't be doing this up here. We will get hurt. But Shadow Paw just wants to play, and Cedar Paw is not going to have any of that. But it's time to go skip to the next moon. Moon number 18. Blazestripe tells himself that they can't let these feelings consume them. Instead, they have to learn to live with it. So luckily, Blazestripe seems to have gotten over his grief. Rosy Pelt's mangled tail seems to be fully healed. That's very good. And Leap Whisker has also gotten rid of their fleas. Also very good. And Tinysight's stomachache has left. Also very good. Cannelloni travels to Ridge Clan to resolve some recent hunting disputes. However, it seems Cannelloni only made Ridge Clan more upset. Dang. It doesn't seem like Cannelloni is the greatest mediator, but he's doing his best. As the herb stores are inspected by the medicine cat, it's noticed that all the rosemary went bad. They'll have to be replaced with new ones. Dang. It's not good to have herbs go bad right at leaf fall, right before leaf bare. Ooh, I love Rosy Pelt. Let's take these three out together. While helping gather herbs, Cedar Paw stumbles upon a bush of red berries. I don't think Cedar Paw has much interest in medicine cat duties or anything that he would consider herbs. So I don't think he's going to proceed with this. So he's not going to touch them. And luckily, that's probably in his favor. We'll take out Blazestripe, Shadow Paw, and Tinysight. Leafball holds the last chances to stock up on herbs that will die off in Leaf Bear, and Tinysight heads out to gather fresh goldenrod for the stores with the patrol of their clanmates. Tinysight is distracted today. Dang. Poor Tinysight. He always seems pretty distracted. I wonder if it's partially just because he feels like he's not doing good enough a job, or he's just very stressed out by all the work he's giving himself. And it just affects his performance. And while walking along the border, your patrol notices an Alder Clan patrol renewing their scent marks up ahead. I think with Valley Star and Sandstorm in this patrol, we would go forward and just see what they were up to. Other patrol greets Valley Star respectfully, remarking on the weather and inquiring politely about the youngest members of the clans. Valley Star smiles, impressed with them. So that's good that we have at least good relationships with one clan. So let's keep going. The next moon. Moon number 19. Scarlet Meadow, looks like Scarlet Meadow and Lavender Finn have both gotten over their grief, which is good, after Timestripe's death. And Leaf Whisker tripped over a small trunk and gained some bruises. Let's mediate. I think we're gonna do Cedar Paw and, Cedar Paw has some romantic like for Shadow Paw, but Shadow Paw doesn't have much feelings at all for Cedar Paw. So let's mediate these two and see what happens. Oh, now she's got some feelings for him. It would be very cute if these two ended up together. Now we got quite a few cats that can patrol now. So Valley Star takes Lavender Finn and Mudsilk out, and they come across a thunder path running through the mountain. I think that since Leaf Bear is coming, they would be a bit more inclined to find prey. And since we have a good hunting skill on our party here, I think that they would try to cross it. patrol waits until they cannot hear the wind whistling, not the murmur of a monster, and crosses the thunder path. Okay, so good. There was no incidents that occurred there. Cedar Paw and Shadow Paw are being monitored by Rosy Pelt, and they hear a cat begging for their housefolk to come back. Looks like we got this situation again. Hopefully we don't have another dead kitty pet on our hands. Yup.
Bruh.
Well, we send a prayer cursing the two legs who abandoned such a loyal cat. It's unusual that these cats keep getting dumped and run over by cars. They found a rabbit and they caught the rabbit. Tiny Sight is taking Blazestripe out, and Blazestripe has a dream and is asking what that could mean for Rainbow Clan. So it looks like Blazestripe's dream was legitimately from Star Clan. I wonder if he had a vision from Timestripe reassuring him that everything was going to be okay. Because Blazestripe was very close with Timestripe. He was like a second father figure to him. And I think that vision would definitely comfort him. And they also gathered some elder leaves. So now we're going on to Moon 20. Scarlet Meadow has gotten a runny nose. Blazestripe overdid their last sparring session in Spring to Paw, and Leap Whisker's bruises have disappeared. And interestingly, Cedar Paw has disappeared for a few days and returns to camp with a red nylon collar around her neck. So it looks like Cedar Paw got caught by two legs in his adventures and got stuck with a collar. And I'm sure he's very unhappy about that. Or maybe he thinks of it as more of a trophy that he braved the two-leg place and survived. Maybe he went there to learn more about Shadow Paw's family. That would be really interesting, since he and Shadow Paw are pretty close. I wonder if he went to go see if he could find Shadow Paw's mom and instead got caught by two legs, and at least he got out. But I can see how he would like to learn to see if he could get a hold of Shadow Paw's mom to see why she was left behind. I can imagine him being pretty protective of Shadow Paw. But let's do Medicine Cat Patrol. They feel a presence join them. The connection wavers, and as quickly as the feeling of company appears, it vanishes. Dang, I was hoping we could get a visit from a Star Clan cat, one of our lost clan members. So Valley Star, Sand Snarl, and Shadow Paw are going out together. It starts snowing soon after the patrol sets out, trying to bring back something for the fresh kill pile. Despite the snow, the patrol manages to hunt successfully, lurking where the Pika are trying to stock their dens for Leaf Bear. As Valley Star leads them home, there's a sense of security and competence driving them onward. So Rosy Pelt, Lavender Finn, and Cedar Paw are going out together. The patrol cautiously moves towards the sound of barking. Near the border, they spot a dog chasing something. Oh no, it's a cat! I think that Cedar Paw would rush into this, because I feel like he's eager to prove himself, and maybe he's pretty protective. He's eager to prove himself, and he would want to save this cat. And I think that Rosy Pelt and Lavender Finn would be forced to come along with. I think that Rosy Pelt and Lavender Finn would have done it anyway, but I feel like they would have taken a bit more precautions before rushing into this situation. But Cedar Paw wouldn't wait 2 seconds. He would go straight into it. The patrol swiftly jumps into action. They capture the dog's attention and draw it away from the cat. Lavender Finn stays hidden and goes to the cat while the rest of the patrol lures the dog away. They're unharmed, and this display of bravery makes them want to join the clan. Highness Nip has joined the clan. That is an interesting name. Let's take a look here. Highness Nip. Oh, they're a good mediator. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna change this name because this is a really bizarre name. We'll call them Highness Heart. I feel like that is a bit better than Highness Nip. But they're incredibly clever and a good mediator. I wonder if I should make them a mediator. Or maybe Cannelloni will step... Oh, maybe. Yep, that's all I needed to know. Is wondering if they made the right decision to become a mediator. I think Cannelloni is going to step down as a mediator and move into the Elder's Den. And instead, we're going to have Highness Heart step up to the role of mediator. So hopefully Cannelloni can get some much needed rest and feel like his place in the clan is more secured. I don't think he was doing very well as a mediator. Hopefully he feels a lot better now that he doesn't have those responsibilities. Let's move on to Moon 21. Cannelloni believes they are part of a new prophecy. Okay. I don't know about that. You're kinda old to be part of a prophecy. So I guess Firestar was the fourth cat, but... Ballystar stands above the clan and proclaims that Shadow Paw shall now be known as Shadow Poppy, honoring their tranquility. And they also stand above Cedar Paw and say that they shall be known as Cedar Bracken, honoring their hard work. So, yay, we have two new warriors, Cedar Bracken and Shadow Poppy. I don't really like the names that are two plant names merged together, so I might change that. Let's see what we get randomized here, just because Cedar Bracken is kind of a ridiculous name. Let's randomize. Cedar Hollow, that works. I like that name. Cedar Hollow. And Shadow Poppy. Shadow Poppy is a really nice name. And Shadow Poppy is still an adolescent. And they want to be chosen as the new deputy already. Well, damn. But Shadow Poppy looks like they got made into a warrior early, so that's a pretty good sign. But it looks like some of the lung work went bad, so we're gonna have to replace that, unfortunately. Let me take a look at the medicine cat den really quick. We can care for a clan of up to 20 members, and we have plentiful herbs. That's very good. Blazestripe is still... Okay, Blazestripe has a sprain, and Scarlet Meadow has a runny nose. Okay. I didn't know this was a thing. This is really interesting. So Blazestripe was given Dandelion as treatment for a sprain. They will heal sooner. Good. How many members do we have? 13. Alright. So we're good on medicine cats for right now. So let's take some cats on patrol. Cedar Hollow, Lavender Finn, and Scarlet Meadow. Lavender Finn spies a fat rabbit on the other side of the Alder clan border. A tempting opportunity to be sure, but it may not be wise to hunt on another clan's territory. Oh, I think that they do it. Lavender Finn, Scarlet Meadow, and Cedar Hollow on a patrol together. They were gonna make some bad decisions, so they're gonna go for it. Lavender Finn leaps for the rabbit and promptly trips over a rock. The rabbit hops away and Lavender Finn sheepishly picks himself up. It's probably for the better that they weren't able to catch the rabbit. Trespassing could have easily damaged relations with Alder Clan. Yeah. At least nothing bad happened, but I definitely do not think that they would have thought twice about that. Patrol comes across a large rat. Your patrol catches the rat. Yay! Sandstorm had a dream last night, and they gathered some poppy and tansy. Let's skip to the next moon. Scarlet Meadow's running nose is gone and Blazestripe's sprain is healed, but it looks like Ballystar and Cedar Hollow have both gotten white cough. Hopefully this doesn't turn into an outbreak, because I can easily see that happening. Tiny Sight heard an ugly rumor about Ballystar. What could that be? Ballystar hasn't done anything wrong. Ooh, maybe they heard the rumor that Ballystar had taken some of those Heath Clan kits to the border, even though they were just checking on them. I guess Ballystar would need to clarify that for Tiny Sight, but maybe that's what that was. Cannelloni tried to bring Lavender Finn's behavior up to them, but it turned into a fight that someone else had to break up. Oh my goodness. I think that Lavender Finn is still maybe acting a little harshly because of his father's death, but that could explain his bad behavior. Oh, Shadow Poppy has a full sprite now. She's still lonesome. I hope that changes with time. So Tiny Sight is going out to gather wild garlic, but it doesn't look like they found any. Mudsilk is leading a patrol, and it starts snowing soon after the patrol sets out, after trying to bring back anything for the fresh kill pile. So I think that with Blazestripe on the party, who is adventurous, I think that they would proceed, just because I think Blazestripe would find this to be something fun to patrol in the snow, but how that goes is up to fate. A storm descends, sudden and violent, putting an end to any other thoughts but survival. The cats dig a snow den and cuddle together, sharing what little warmth they have. Each cat takes a turn on the side nearest to the entrance tunnel, selflessly risking themselves. So unfortunately that didn't go very well, but luckily we didn't lose any cats. Lastly, we have Scarlet Meadow and Sandstorm. As the patrol is marking the borderlines, a gang of rogues leaps out from behind a tumble of rocks. An ambush! Okay, well, since Scarlet Meadow is an unusually good fighter, I think that she would jump in to protect Sandstorm. Hopefully nothing bad happens. The patrol descends into a battle without a second thought, easily driving the rogues away as they use their knowledge of the rocky terrain to their advantage. Okay, good. I was a little worried there. So it looks like Sandstorm and Scarlet Meadow make a good team. Move to Moon 23. Scarlet Meadow has gotten white cough. Scarlet Meadow was bitten by a snake and miraculously survived, and Lavender Finn has gotten green cough. That's really bad. that this is, at least Cedar Hollow no longer has it, but Scarlet Meadow and Lavender Finn have gotten it. And it's pretty cool that Scarlet Meadow survived the snake bite, but that white cough, if they die of that white cough or it turns into green cough, that's not going to mean much. But in other news, Stripe confessed their feelings to Sandstorm and they have become mates. I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Alright, whatever. I think it's fine. Let's do some mediating. Let's do Cedar Hollow and Shadow Poppy again, because I want them to become mates before one of them dies. let's mediate between them. Alright, that goes up. Hopefully this white cough, green cough doesn't turn into an outbreak. Everyone gets better pretty quickly. So let's send out Cedar Hollow, Rosy Pelt, and Blaze Stripe. Cedar Hollow starts telling every cat a story of their ancestors to keep them entertained. That doesn't really seem like Cedar Hollow, but maybe he is feeling like a storyteller today. It keeps the cats' minds off their sore pads and the sharp stones they walk on. The patrol goes easily and quickly. Okay, that's good. Let's take these last 4. Tinysight leads a patrol out to explore Rainbow Clan's territory and bring back any herbs they can spot. Their whiskers want to twitch with every raindrop that hits them, but the clan doesn't have the luxury to sit inside away from the weather. It's absolutely miserable weather to gather in, and Tinysight wishes they didn't have to. But even though Shadow Poppy slips in the mud and they all end up drenched, they do bring back herbs. So they brought back some loan work. Poor Shadow Poppy, though. So we're going on to Moon 24. This ends our 2nd year in Rainbow Clan. Hopefully everything's going to be alright. Scarlet Meadow's white cough is gone, and Valley Star has recovered from white cough, and Leap Whisker has a splitting headache and a runny nose, so that's not good for them. Valley Star lost a life to a dog, so that's Valley Star's very first life lost. He's still got 8 left, but I'm surprised that he didn't lose one to the dog that attacked Cupcake previously. He seems to be getting into situations with dogs pretty often. Alright. Let's take everyone out on patrol really quick before we end up the episode. With New Leaf having won against the snows of Leaf Bear, it's far safer to go gather juniper needles from the trees. Tinysight heads out with a gathering patrol, promising the warriors that they can pick up a few needles for the dens of the camp to help freshen them up, so long as they gather enough for the herb stores first. The warriors are full of complaints about the sharp juniper needles sparking their poor little noses, and eventually a mildly disgusted Tinysight calls up the herb gathering patrol. Poor Tinysight. He goes through so much, and these fucking Valley Star is complaining to him, really? Valley Star, I guess he did just lose a life, so maybe he's feeling a little out of it, but let's take these 3 out. Your patrol glimpses the shadow of a fish as they pad past a stream. Sandstorm very carefully walks to the water's edge and waits for their chance. When the fish is near, they hook it out of the water with their claws. More fresh kill. Yay! And lastly, we have Blaze Stripe and Shadow Poppy. Blaze Stripe suggests this might be a good chance to practice new fighting techniques with Shadow Poppy. The 2 cats set up the sparring area. Blaze Stripe can't lay a paw on Shadow Poppy. Their focus completely disrupted as Shadow Poppy whips their tail along Blaze Stripe's throat teasingly. What? Whoa! Hold on a second. Y'all, Blaze Stripe was a mate. Y'all need to calm the fuck down. Let's mediate really quick. I'm gonna do Leap Whisker and Tinysight. Because they don't have a great relationship, and I want to see if I can improve that a little bit. No romantic. Okay, so it did go up a little bit. I think Highness Heart would definitely want to see, after hearing about Tinysight's distance from his mother, he would definitely want to try to repair that relationship. So yeah, that finishes off Moon number 2 of Rainbow Clan. Before we go, I'm going to skip ahead 1 moon just to give you guys a sneak peek of what's coming next. Let's take a look. Well, it looks like nothing bad is in store for Rainbow Clan at the moment, because everyone is doing just fine. Aside from the medicine cats who are losing some herbs, but hopefully next time we will continue to have some good luck with this clan. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye!